All right, so before we begin with our dividing mixed numbers notes, you want to make sure that your notebook, your digital notebook is open first. So if you need to pause the video and get that open, please do so. It should be at the top of week 5, and you're going to want to make sure you're following along with these notes, or you can always type them in at the very end. Just make sure you get your notes updated, and then you're going to need something to write on and with to do these 2 example problems. So feel free to pause the video if needed, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we talked about dividing fractions yesterday, but now we're going to talk about dividing mixed numbers, which is really just one more step. So the additional step now, just like when we multiplied mixed numbers, is that you need to change mixed or whole numbers to improper fractions first. So that's just one number over another. And then you just follow the same things that we did with dividing fractions. You keep the dividend the same. You change the division sign to multiplication, and you flip the divisor so that it's the reciprocal now. So you're just flipping it upside down, which is the reciprocal. Cross reduce if possible, multiply straight across, simplify. Those are the things we did when we multiplied. So these steps are really just the same. The only new step is what we did with multiplying mixed numbers was change them to improper fractions first. So we're going to do 2 example problems to get you started, and then you'll have some practice to do. Okay, so let's look at this first one. We're going to do our first step of changing those mixed numbers to mixed numbers into improper fractions first. So remember to do that. We multiply our denominator by the whole number, and then we add in the numerator to get what our new numerator is. So we got 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16, and our denominator stays the same. Really, really important here. All I'm doing is changing my mixed numbers to improper fractions. Do not do keep, change, flip yet. I have seen over and over and over again students try and do all these steps at the same time, and almost every time they forget to flip their the divisor, the second number. Okay, so we're not doing that part yet. We are just changing them to improper fractions. So I'm still keeping it division. I have not keep, change, flipped anything yet. Super important. So then you want to take your denominator times your whole number here as well and add in the numerator. So we end up with 4/3. So important that you have this step. Do not skip this step. Okay? I'm just telling you from my own experience. So now is when we can do that whole keep, change, flip, where we keep the dividend the same, change the division multiplication, flip the divisor so it's a reciprocal. So I'm going to keep 16/5 exactly the same, change division to multiplication, and flip to have the reciprocal for our divisor. Okay, now I strongly suggest that you cross reduce if possible. It's going to help you out. So on this one, I can see that 4 and 16 can both be divided by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Now, if you didn't cross reduce, that's okay. You're just going to have bigger numbers and need to simplify more at the end, and that's fine. I just encourage you to do it sooner because it's a little bit easier. So when we multiply straight across, so 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. We have an improper fraction. We cannot leave that. We need to simplify. So I know that 5 fits into 12 2 times, and it's going to have 2 left over, and my fifths stay the same. So 2 and 2/5 is my final answer for that one. Okay, we're going to try one more. Make sure you're following along with your scratch paper. So I've got to change those mixed numbers and whole numbers to improper fractions first. So that first one's going to end up being, if I do 5 times 2, that's 10, plus 4 is 14, and then the fifths stay the same. Notice I'm keeping my division because we have not done keep, change, flip yet. Very important. And for the 7, I'm just going to put it as 7/1. Very simple. Okay. So now is when I can do keep, change, flip. So notice how those are 2 separate steps. So I'm going to keep the dividend the same, change to multiplication, and get the reciprocal for my divisor, so flip. And again, if you would like to cross reduce, I highly suggest that. The 7 and 14 happen to go into one another, so they can both be divided by 7. Make sure you're careful that you're not like, oh, I can divide them both by 2. Well, no, because 2 doesn't go into 7. 7 goes into 7. So you can divide them both by 7. So the 7 becomes a 1, and 14 becomes a 2. You can't do anything with the 1 and 5. Those are already as simple as possible. So 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to write it down here because I ran out of room across. And 5 times 1 is 5. 2/5 is as small as I can go, so we end up with 2/5. It was 2/5 party this time. We got that in both answers. All right, if you need to go back and take a look at something, feel free. But otherwise, your homework today is some dividing mixed numbers practice. You're going to have 3 problems that you're going to need to do your work for and insert a picture of. So if you need help with that, please ask. Happy to do that. And you're going to check with the answer key. Really, really important to check with the key. Okay, it's on the next slides, just like we did for yesterday. I did a picture of my own work, so yours might look just a little bit different, but we should end up with the same answers if we simplified correctly. Okay, and then also do extra math if needed. All right, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.